What do you do when you totally blow your diet? Whether it's a cheat meal, a cheat day, a cheat weekend, or still going, I'm going to give you 7 things that you can do to get yourself back on track coming up next. So I totally blew my freaking diet. This is not hyperbole, I seriously blew it. I didn't just have a cheat meal or cheat day, I pretty much my diet. Those boxes in the thumbnail, they're not just props. I didn't go strolling into Cinnabon one day with a handful of carrot sticks saying, hey, I need one of your empty boxes for a prop that I'm using for a YouTube video. No, those boxes were delivered here and all of the contents that was in them is gone, and yes, I ate the bulk of it. The saddest part is that's only a small sample of some of the things that have been delivered to my house and that I've consumed over the past 5 to 6 weeks. Depending on when you're watching this, we've been going through this COVID quarantine for the last several months, and apparently helping local businesses has turned into me to eat whatever the frick you want, all in the name of helping somebody else. But after about 6 weeks of this, where I would eat okay through the week, pretty much blow it the entire weekend, and then go back to eating okay throughout the week, doing that for 6 weeks over and over again, I finally came to my senses and I decided to do something about it. Ultimately, after all that, I'm back to making my healthy choices. So what about you? This quarantine has a ton of people feeling down and out. They're feeling depressed. They're feeling lost. Or maybe, like I did, you really did want to help some of your local businesses, but you did the same thing I did as well, which was to use that as a free-for-all to go and eat whatever the heck you wanted to. And no matter when that was, maybe you found yourself in a free-fall ever since. So whether you're watching today after you had a cheat meal or a cheat day, a cheat weekend, or again, you're just still going on, let's dive into some things that you can do to help yourself get back on track. So tip number 1 is I'm not going to beat myself up. The sad reality of this, and I've seen it all over social media, is I see people coming in and out of these types of forums and health forums and stuff saying, oh man, I totally blew it. I totally, maybe I had this meal that I didn't want to have, or I've been going for weeks, or whatever the case may be. And they're like, oh, I'm such a loser. Oh, I totally blew it. I'm so horrible. And making themselves feel like crap. Beating yourself up, making yourself feel crappy, it does nothing to help you get going again. So many of us, like me, I spent most of my life overweight. Many times you're overweight because you felt like crap about yourself. You don't need to get yourself going back down those same roads again. What you eat, what you put in your mouth does not make you a loser. It does not make you a horrible person or a piece of garbage. Don't put yourself down. Don't sit there and call yourself a bunch of names. It's not worth it. The second thing that I'm not going to do after this, kind of my next tip is don't weigh yourself, at least not right away. Most of us, when we binge or when we cheat, we're not doing this. Oh, hey, I think I'm going to go from eating 5 celery sticks to 10 celery sticks. Most of us are not like that. We're going out, we're having pizza, we're having burgers, we're having fries, we're doing all sorts of stuff. And the one thing that all those foods have in common is they're loaded with sodium. And so I'm going to tell you right now, if you've done that, you are going to show a gain on the scale. Now, don't beat yourself up too much or don't get all kind of freaked out because I'm sitting here saying this. Most of what you're going to see on the scale is going to be water weight. Primarily due to the excess sodium and the fact that you've loaded yourself up with it. Your body's going to be hanging on to a lot of water. Now, I deal with this topic in another video. I'll put a link to it maybe up here or put a link to it down in the description about how you can deal with sudden weight gain. But one of the things I talk about is sodium, and your body is going to react in such a way that it's going to hang on to water. You're going to show a gain. It's likely not all fat, so don't freak out. But again, why jump onto the scale right after doing something like this when I know it's going to show a gain anyway? And if you're someone that gets easily discouraged by that, there's just no point in doing it. Give yourself a little bit of time, in some cases, maybe a week or 2 even, before you get back on the scale. It's just not worth having that kind of negativity in your life. My next tip is to stop the spiral. I know a lot of us have in common is that we have a tendency to take one step that turns into 2, that turns into 10, and then all of a sudden we're just snowballing down a hill out of control. But the reality of it is you made this choice at one point in time, or maybe you're contemplating it, but you have the power to make a decision to make those better choices for you. And the one thing I want to encourage you is to do it right now. Don't be one of these people like I did for, oh my gosh, forever, where it's like, oh, I'll start on Monday. I'll get back to it on Monday. You know what? You can start right now. I don't care what time of day you're watching this. If it's first thing in the morning, great, start. If it's a Thursday morning, start. If it's a Wednesday afternoon and you've already eaten breakfast and lunch and it was a bunch of crap, doesn't matter. Make your next meal a good one, but you can start right now to stop the spiral. It gets your mind back in a good state of mind, and it can get you going in the right direction a whole lot easier. Make the decision to start now. Before we get going on any more of our tips, I want to invite you to hop over to my channel, subscribe, and then click on the little bell icon. And then if you wouldn't mind, click the like button on that video. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. For a new YouTuber like me, it's huge. That makes all the difference in the world if you could just do that for me. And then the other thing would be is if you could drop a comment down below. Let's talk. Let's get a conversation going. What are some of the things that you've been doing that's maybe helping you feel like you've been off track? Or maybe you're someone that was off track and now you're back on and you have some tips to share. We'd love to hear about those. Tip number 4 is relax. Understand that this is life. Sometimes we have ups, sometimes we have downs. Sometimes we make good decisions, sometimes we make bad decisions when it comes to our health. This is life. This is a part of it. I don't know why it's so easy for us to lose sight of that. We give ourselves a lot of grace sometimes in other areas of our life, but when it comes to our health, not so much. We think that we should somehow keep this line of perfection going, and we just aren't going to do that. This is life. Get up and dust yourself off and get going again. The next tip that I'm going to do is I'm going to drastically hydrate. Usually after I have a cheat meal or day or weekend or whatever it is, I know I can feel it in my body. I start getting headaches and other things because I know I'm getting dehydrated. And so I'm going to start drinking a ton of water, and I encourage you to do the same thing as well. Hydrating will help your body to start flushing some of the things that are your body's kind of hanging on to right now. It'll help to counteract a lot of the sodium and high sodium that you've been eating. And it also helps from a satiating standpoint. It helps you feel full longer. Just hydrating yourself, it really does make a big difference. Hydrate, drink your water. Tip number 6 is to consider fasting if you've never done it before. Now, whether that's going on like a 2 or 3 day full-blown water fast to where you're doing nothing but water over a 3-day period, or maybe you're going to start doing intermittent fasting maybe for the first time, or getting back on a regimen that you had been doing a long time ago. Getting yourself back into that kind of fasting mindset, it does help to reset your brain a little bit. It helps you focus on the healthy choices that you can make. It's a little bit easier when it comes to food choices, when you know that you don't have to make a choice for a piece of food or for a particular meal, especially when it seems like, I don't know if you're like me, but after you've had a time when you've been not eating things that you should, it can be really hard to start eating right again, because it's like your body, it shows the addictive nature of the food that we have been eating for decades. It starts making your body feel like you crave that stuff again. And so getting into this intermittent fasting or water fasting state of mind for a while can really help you kind of reset your brain a little bit and help you focus a little bit easier when it comes to making the next few choices that you're going to make after your fast is over, or if you're intermittent fasting, what you're going to do going forward. Tip number 7 is, and this is a little bit related to one that I talked about earlier, but it is slightly different, and that is this. Remember that what you're doing should be a lifestyle and not a diet. This is so important because, again, as I talked about before, we have ups, we have downs, we have good days, we have bad days, all that kind of stuff. But when you're on a diet, it's so easy to break the diet and then just kind of be like, oh, whatever, I'm just going to do my whole thing. But if you have started, and whether it's keto or low carb or paleo or some other thing, if you've looked at it through the lens of this is my lifestyle, this is what I'm going to do for my health going forward, I'm just going to tell you, it's so much easier to come back to that and to start making those choices and decisions to help you get back on track. As I said earlier, it's about life, and life has, these kind of ups and downs and all this kind of stuff, but a lifestyle way of eating is, hey, it's the same thing when you go on vacation. Go on vacation, maybe enjoy yourself, but when you get back, hey, I'm going back onto my lifestyle because this is what's best for me, this is what's best for my health, and that's what I'm going to follow. So remember, it's a lifestyle, not a diet. Get out of that mindset and it'll help you recover that much quicker. Look, no matter what you've been doing over the last few days, weeks, months, or any other length of time, you are not a loser or a crappy person or anything else that you've been calling yourself that deserves to be run through the ringer. You're a human being doing life just like the rest of us and doing the best that you can. If you have been running off the rails for your own health, it's time to get back to making those healthy decisions for you. So I'm going to invoke the name of my channel and say, today is your time to start your pursuit for better. Make today better than yesterday and make tomorrow better than today. Strive each day to be a better version of yourself than you were today. We all have the power to do this. You just have to decide to do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.